do you remember what it was like in the playground? It's an extraordinary film and such a compassionate film, but never sentimental until we get the diamonds in the sky, and then it's like, ah.
Thank you.
So, I mean, the first question that I really wanted to talk to you about is, did you know what you were going to look for when you went in? Your camera is so attentive to every single sort of moment that's happening in this relationship between the children themselves, between the teachers. How much did you, what were your thoughts going into this?
I changed my mind all the time. I was going to film especially the games of the children in the courtyard, and then I thought that I couldn't film in class because I thought that I wouldn't do anything interesting. And then the teacher, Mohammed, he took his class to choose books in the library. And I asked him, can I come with you in the classroom? He said yes. And I was so amazed by the concentration of the children when they read, and the fact that he said with a very low voice, there is too much sound here. And everyone stopped talking. And I think but you are an expert, when you do a documentary, you come with one idea, and then you discover what's going on, what's happening in that place, and then you change, you follow what interests you, and that's what I did.
And you get so close with the children, and I'm really, I know that you must create such a special place for yourself that's present, invisible, supportive. Can you
I'm not invisible.
But you're not invisible, you're present.
Yeah. They know that we are, me and the sound guy, who is genius, wonderful guy, we are, as the teachers had said several times, so I can say it, I was part of the school.
Okay.
I was part of the class, and then the children, they were okay for me to be.
So they accept you as part of the school.
Yeah, because what's going on in the courtyard as playing or in the classroom was more important than the fact that I was filming them.
This is the thing that very quickly people forget that there's a camera. We were talking.
They not forget, they accept it. I'm part of it.
They accept it, but they don't modulate their behavior with it being there.
No, they don't. No.
And did you have a boom, like the sound?
Yeah,
with a boom?
the guy the boom was so good that I always film listening to what's, and he tries to film to get the sound of what I am interested in, and it was wonderful. I always film with the sound. I can't film without the sound.
Absolutely, because then it's already cinema.
Yeah.
As soon as you've got the headphones on.
Yeah.
It's already.
That's right.
Yeah.
You are already in the scene. It's a film.
Yes. And the way that you're shooting all of this yourself.
Of course.
And
I never leave anyone to touch the camera. As a woman, I know that if I have the finger on record, it gives me the power. So nobody else decides when I shoot.
Because there's so many decisions that you're making all the time with your camera, because you're listening and you're, like I was saying, that this phrase in English, the early bird catches the worm. And in fact, my son has a pet parrot, and he can see everything happening before it's happened, particularly my finger getting anywhere near him. And your attentiveness with your eye has this incredible sense of speed and decision, which then, of course, you bring to the editing.
Of course, yeah. Yeah, but I like very much, I'm sorry for my voice, I like very much to film children because they are completely free, they are authentic, they are genuine, they are so beautiful. And so this is my line.
I mean, how do you feel when you're with the children? Do you contact a part of your childlike self in that as well?
Oh, yes. I'm an old child.
Yes, this is what I suspected. Because you couldn't have as much pleasure and love if you weren't partly feeling the excitement of what it is to be a child. And this is something that I've felt about this word apprendre, to grasp, to grip, to understand.
Yeah. And in French, it has a double sense. You can say that, the children are learning, but you are also, in this word, saying the teachers are teaching. It's the same word. So it goes both ways.
And I feel, maybe is this a thought that occurred to you, that it's kind of a violence of this vitality of these children's spirits to be educated?
Oh, yes. It's just the contrary that was said on the TV and in social network. These children, they want to learn. They are so committed to, you can see everyone is like this, and, and the guy who knows well, he's, crazy about telling the teacher that he knows. And they are very committed with that. And also, I thought it was beautiful, that.
But at the same time, there's a lot of tension between children that we see.
Yeah.
This is the psychology of the playground, particularly with the little girl who just is absolutely...
You're out.
Yeah, you're out. And then that rather wonderful race where there's the little child that catches up.
Yeah.
All these competitions that are playing out are also kind of... They're sort of scary about being humans, that we have to deal with other humans.
Yeah.
So the film is, to me, really existential. It goes beyond just being about pedagogy. It's about this existential passage, this rite of passage, which I think you're looking at in different stages of young people's lives, young human lives.
Yeah, I agree. I can't say
You can't say anything more.
I agree.
So let me just go back to my questions. Yes, the culture of the children who are coming here as children who are from immigrant families, and you never did you meet any of their parents? Did you ever relate?
When we showed the film.
Wow, what did they say when they saw the film?
It was very moving. A lot of parents cried, and for example, this boy who is so strong, Jaem, who cannot sit for a long time and plays everything, but he answers well the questions. And his mother came to me because the director said, I have problems with Jaem's family, you should take it out. I said, no way. And so...
The director of the school said this?
Yeah, he's so nice. But he said that, and I said, no way. And then the mother of Jaem came to see me, and she said, he's not good. He's quite good, Jaem. He's doing well. And I said, yes. And it was,
That's often the case, isn't it? Because people can have this idea that somehow documentary filmmakers extract, but actually they contribute to the life of the people in the films.
Yeah.
And that's a very good example of that, where you have a certain courage to go in. Did you ever feel that was there anything that you couldn't put in the film, or that you felt was too...
No. What was more boring was when the children were not there.
Right.
Yeah. It was with the discussion between adults was more boring than seeing the children all the time.
Because I definitely feel that the way that you've shaped the film, it is about being with the children, and even though they're there kind of shaping it, the teachers.
Yeah. And also, this is, in France, we have this idea of Republican schools where you enter the school and there is equality. Everyone is equal. And you are going to be a citizen. You are learning the French and mathematics and everything, but you are going to be a citizen. And this is absolutely the aim of that school, which I found beautiful. And I think it's absolutely wonderful the way the teachers are working, and the way it was. When I shot, it was during a period of riots outside, because there was a young man who was killed by the police because he didn't want to stop. Instead of shooting in the tires, they shot in his head, and he was dead. And so the whole suburbs were in fire. There were riots everywhere, and in the night, even there in Ivry, they burned cars and everything. But what was said on TV was the contrary of what I was seeing. The fact that children wanted to learn, the fact that the teachers were giving everything they could, that the parents were there in the morning, at lunchtime, in the afternoon, and it was all fake what they were saying at the TV. The children were there, and the parents were there, and everyone was committed to make that school a beautiful school. Why? Because in their lives are not very funny sometimes. Some parents are very poor, some are less, but so the school is a place like a shelter. It's a place where you learn, everyone is equal. You learn everything you need to be a good citizen. And then when you see the carnival, when they walk into the surroundings, everyone is very proud, and you realize that the school is the heart of the city, that it makes the city, and the parents and everyone is proud of being part of that school, which is building the city.
And this interesting, the diversity of religions and different stories, different countries, different cultures that people have come from. We have this in England too, this extraordinary melting pot mixture of cultures. And it's interesting in post-colonial societies like France, like England, how they negotiate this. Because very often now people are coming for many different reasons that aren't to do with, like in England we had people coming very much from closer to when there was the British Empire. And when you see these children, you entering into the French culture, which has a very strong identity historically, but then suddenly I think the diamonds in the sky is beautiful because you just see this is the future of France.
That's right. That's why I so much like to film children and young people, because they are the future, and we have to understand and know what they want, what they are committed to. I mean, it is so important. And I love their way of taking what is given to them, and I think they are wonderful.
And then there's this context to the school that comes to visit, which I didn't realize, but maybe you can explain to the audience about the school that comes and participates in
It's a very posh private school with all the children that are in that school are mainly sons, also daughters of ministers, and they come and it's a long partnership they have with that school, and they do music. So it's an incredible moment of the difference of the surnames, for example, and the way that the children of that school are trying those instruments they don't know anything about, and Schubert and everything. And then I found it very tough. But the director and some parents, they love this partnership for these children to know another part of the world. But I found it very violent. Yeah. Because the children, they could see that the girl, she was playing well the Chopin and everything, and they thought, oh, we'll never do that. We'll never be able to do that.
But maybe there are contexts that they do have. I mean, certainly, if you're in a religious context, there might be a lot of music associated with that
Yeah.
history that you're participating in. I mean, you certainly see the strong attachment to the Muslim culture when the little
Yeah.
girl is saying, we can't talk about atheism, it's haram, which means
Yeah.
forbidden in Islam.
Yeah.
And then the little boy gets incredibly, like they become for me almost like grown-ups. Half the
Yeah.
time I'm looking at them as children and I'm thinking, no, this is the world. I'm seeing the negotiations of
Yeah.
adults here.
Yeah,
And then
that's right.
this is a sort of strange, uncanny thing that happens. But when the little boy gets furious about the idea of you must follow your religion, so there's, they don't come as a tabula rasa culturally at all.
But when he says he's doing 14 prayers
Yeah.
a day, she's completely, she
Yes.
laughs so much.
Yes.
She thinks, 14 prières, you're crazy, you know. And I like it very much the fact that it's a story about Hinduism. And in 5 minutes it is Islam. And they know about it. And I love the guy who says, but change religion. If they want to kill you, change religion. It's very easy. I mean, that's okay.
There's to me, the structure of the film is with this pedagogy at the beginning, arithmetic, structures of math, structures of language, and then it slowly starts to sort of expand into imagination and myth, and then this idea of the self-portrait, who am I, this looking back at myself, to the sort of emergence structured through the film's narrative, as it were, the way that you've organised the scenes. And I felt very... I felt there was a real coherence, and that can be underestimated because people talk about narrative in documentary, but we were talking more about cinema, and how cinema is like, opening up different one box after another. And can you talk a bit about how you see documentary in terms of cinema?
Well, I think that we love watching a film with actors who are playing scenes, and in fact, I call documentary cinema with bare hands. You have, but it is the same. I hope that the audience likes to see films that are not, pedagogical, that you explain everything to understand, that you feel that you are in a film, that you are a viewer with characters, and you are following what's happening to them, and it's a story. It has nothing to do with a lesson, with something to explain.
But you have to look at it. There's the dictum of showing and telling in documentary. This is such an exemplary case of showing, so that you have to look, rather than documentaries that have strong voiceovers that you don't have to look. With this kind of, which is, I would call it sort of anthropological as much as it is a documentary, it's documentation. And can you talk a bit about your early study, what you studied in terms of your background, your earliest, as a young person?
I was in film editing and at social anthropology. And I think that cinema is a lot about social anthropology. As we said, like The Godfather, the first part of Coppola, is an anthropological film. And you have a lot of films that are anthropological because they are telling how we live and with what rules and how we are. Yeah. And I am very much interested in what is linked in one place with the rest of the world. And like for me, it was so strong to see how important was the school in the city, how it was building the city. And but also the fact that the Republican school is to make a school where every child is the equal of the other one, and that they will, in this shelter, they will grow up and become citizens.
In this sense, the film is optimistic.
Because the school is amazing. The school is wonderful.
I was reading that the name of the school, is it maybe related to this educationalist.
Yeah, the Ukrainian-Russian Anton Makarenko.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was his educational
More or
approach?
less it was like this.
Progressive?
Yeah. But this city is communist.
Oh.
And the director of the school is the second of the town hall. And he is, it's not important, but he is really, I feel that in the discussion he has with the child, explaining that it is stupid to punish him, that he is so intelligent, so nice to the boy who is, saying that, of course, he didn't know why he